Hi there team, Coach Alexa here. So I was out on the trails a little bit this morning and the weather's shifted a little bit around our way. We've had over 4 weeks now of fairly dry weather with sort of cool, dry air but hot sun. And it's changed a little bit this morning, so it was feeling milder and it was also feeling more humid. So there's more moisture in the air, and that sort of changes how it feels when you're out and about and when you're moving. So I thought I'd talk through these factors. So, air temperature is the biggest one, isn't it? That probably has the largest impact on when we're running, and that balance of what we're wearing, even when we're walking as well, the balance of what we're wearing and what we need to kind of do to keep cool, how much water to take with us, etc. And that's still a really, really important one. Another factor that we've probably been learning over this past month, certainly down in the balmy south of England, is the sun had quite an impact. So the air was often quite cool. So if you're in the shade, it did feel cool on occasions, but when you were in the sun actually felt quite hot. So the same air temperature, but in shade versus sun, felt really quite different. So that's another factor, whether the sun's out or not. Couple of other things that people maybe don't think about as much because they don't directly impact our experience of the temperature in the same way, but they do impact our body's ability to keep cool. So our cooling system works on evaporation. So we sweat, that we get a layer of kind of that sweat sort of water-based liquid on our skin, and then it evaporates away and cools us down. So if you think about maybe you've got out of a swimming pool or something like that, and the air in the changing rooms, or if it's an outdoor pool outside, is a little bit cooler, you'll feel quite cold. You'll feel colder stood on the edge of the swimming pool soaking wet than you would if you were just with your swimming costume on dry, because that air is evaporating away the water from your skin and drawing away your heat at the same time. So that's exactly how our sweat-based cooling system works. The evaporation of that sweat draws the heat from our body. Now, there are a couple of weather-based factors that influence how effectively this sweat-based cooling system works. The first one is wind speed. So if it's a very still day, you're not going to get as much of that sweat being drawn away as if it was a windier day. So you can imagine, again, using that standing in your swimming costume analogy, if you were stood there soaking wet in your swimming costume on the side of an outdoor pool and it was windy, you would get a lot colder a lot more quickly. So as the wind goes over your skin, there's more kind of air passing over you, and the higher the volume of air passing over you, the more of it is going to be drawn, the more sweat or water is going to be drawn away from your skin as that air passes over you. The other factor is humidity. So that's how much moisture is already in the air. So think of it, the analogy I think about is like maybe a sort of sponge or like a towel. So if the towel is already wet and you're trying to dry yourself with it, it's not going to dry you as quickly. If the towel is really dry, or the sponge is really dry, it's going to take that moisture off your skin quite quickly. So humid air, which is already carrying more moisture, is going to be less able to take more moisture away from your skin. So you're going to cool less effectively when it's humid. Nice dry air, the same volume of air going over your skin is going to wick and draw away more of your sweat, so cool you a bit better. So if you are planning, a longer run, a longer hike, there are a few different factors to look at weather forecast wise. Air temperature is one. How sunny it is or cloudy is another. Most of us maybe are already looking at that sort of stuff. But the other two to look at is wind speed, which is also available on most of the weather apps, and humidity. Now, humidity often isn't published, so you do maybe have to have a little bit of a nose, for example, at a more detailed website like the Met Office to look at humidity in the area that you're in. Or, stick a head out a window or go for a wander outside briefly, and you can feel it often, can't you? You can kind of feel like maybe a heaviness, a slight sort of dampness in the air on more humid days. So those factors are all worth taking into account, particularly if you're out for a bit of a longer training session outdoors, just to plan what you're wearing and also how much water to take with you, and maybe other cooling strategies that you might want to implement. Hope that's useful.